really get to ask you after the Virginia Tech game, but losing D'Marco, obviously a tough blow for you guys. Can you sort of give us an update on what that looks like and what it means opportunity-wise for the guys that are trying to sort of fill some of those minutes?
Yeah, it was a really big blow to not have D'Marco. It was the last drill in practice before we were getting ready to get on a bus and go up to Blacksburg, and he ran into Bo May, and it was just a regular play, and felt something in his hand and broke his hand. And so just really unfortunate because he was playing really well. He was gaining minutes coming off the bench. His ability to shoot, defend, at the guard position is so beneficial to us, and just really wanted him out there on the floor. And so right now, it looks like he could be back by the end of this month.
Oh, wow, awesome.
And so that's really great news, and for us. And it's, one of the things I always tell the guys is, you always have an opportunity. Only thing that I can say to you is I don't know when, where, how, and in the manner in which you'll get that opportunity. And so now that's an opportunity for more minutes for guys like for Seth, who has been playing great off the bench, Tyler Nickel, other guys getting an opportunity, Dontrez Styles, to get more minutes out there on the floor.
Coach, speaking of Seth, what did you see from the late rally against Virginia Tech that sort of encouraged you, or anything to build off of, maybe with Seth in particular this week?
Well, I've always been encouraged with Seth. I'm so thankful and that he's a part of this team and is here at Carolina. He's just gifted, in terms of his athleticism and his ability on both ends of the floor to use that athleticism to be really beneficial to us. Like defensively, he's just a great on-ball defender. His pressure is just really good. He can stay in front of anyone. It's very difficult, very hard to post him up because he's really strong. And then on the offensive end, he's one of the fastest guys I've ever seen with the ball. And so just encouraging him in transition and also half-court situations, coming off ball screens. One of the things that I always yell at him is, not yell at him, I say attack, 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 because I don't think anybody can stay in front of him. And when he gets the ball into the paint, to the basket, he has a really good understanding of when to shoot and when to pass and create, not only for himself, but for others. And just love that he's here. He's a great kid and a great player.
You said a couple times last week about, I guess that's just a little practice for a couple of weeks, only a couple of times. You've been back here for 5-6 days. Now, I know exams are going on, but how much does it help that you're back here? You get, at least they're in their own beds, they're kind of in their own, little bit of their own routine, and you've had a couple of practices.
It's been great. It's been nice to get back into our routine. I always, I talk to you guys, in reference to, the discipline and the details that I've been telling the team that's what we have to get back to in terms of our consistency on both ends of the floor. I think the only way that you can build those habits is practice. And, prior to this week, we haven't had an opportunity to practice. And so this week has been great. It's been nice to be at home. It's been nice to get back to practice and reinforce the things that I think put us in a position to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's just been good being able to do that consecutive days in the midst of exams. And so, Georgia Tech is a really good basketball team, but I really feel like our preparation this week has been really good and puts us in a position to be the best that we can be tomorrow afternoon.
Is being able to practice and focus on what you just said, is that the remedy to fix some of the things that haven't been working too well the last couple of weeks?
Well, I do. One of the things that I told you guys is, and one of the things that I did this week, and I had time to do it, was, look at it in two parts, offensively and defensively, and look at the things offensively that I think we're doing well, and then look at the things that I think we need to improve on. Then from a defensive standpoint, what things are we doing well and what things do we need to improve on? And then every day, pick 2 or 3 things that we just, on the offensive side, on the defensive side, and try to continue to build those habits to move that over to a strength, whether it's offense and defense. And just having that time, not only to think about it and write it down, but to also implement it in practice and do it, I think is just really big for us.
What stood out on offense that you need to really get better at?
Well, a number of things. I'll point out two things. One, the offensive glass. That's just always been a foundation piece for us, getting second chance opportunities. And outside of Armando, we just haven't had a presence in terms of offensive glass. And so just reinforcing that this is important for us and that we've got to do a better job of that. I really also think in terms of our execution, just the pace and the purpose of our plays, getting to the right spots and talking about like setting solid and legal screens. What a great example when you played Virginia Tech. When they screened, and we weren't screening. We weren't in the right spots. We weren't running our plays with pace and purpose, and being able just to talk about it, to see it on film and to be able to practice it. Those are two things offensively that we've been working on this week.
What is Armando's status? Is there any update? Will he be able to play tomorrow?
There is update. He practiced yesterday, limited basis. Today, I'm expecting him to do even more today, and there's a chance that he could play tomorrow. It just depends how he feels, but he is trending in the right direction. He practiced for the first time yesterday, and today his reps will go up, and if it continues to go up, I'm going under the assumption that he will play, but it depends on how he feels. One of the things that I always tell the players is the most important thing to me is their health. It's not the game, it's their health. And just want to take care of all of our players and make sure that all of our players are healthy and well out there on the floor.
And also, will it be Jalen Washington's debut tomorrow? Will he get a chance to get out there?
There is a chance for Jalen to get a chance to be out there. He has been full goal in practice this entire week. I think the biggest thing for him is conditioning. But in terms of basketball, he's ready to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen goes in the game tomorrow afternoon.
With Bacot's injury, is it just like soreness and bruising? Is there anything else?
It was an AC sprain, and typically it gets better every day. I don't have a time frame in terms of it's more. I would say it's more like an ankle sprain in terms of healing, in terms of feeling. I've never done it personally, so I don't know what it feels like, but it's more soreness. They've taken x-rays, done ultrasounds. There's nothing structurally damaged or anything like that. It's just soreness and just being able to manage that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hubert, the way you guys were able to extend your defense at Virginia Tech in the second half, I know that was a symptom of being down and trying to get back in the game.
We're going to do that more.
Well, that was my question.
No, we're going to do that
Should I
more.
finish or?
No, we're going to do
Please
that.
expound.
No, we're going to do that more. I really liked it. When we were in Portland, I felt like we trapped a lot more against Alabama, and I felt like it was effective for us. And so then in Virginia Tech, we extended that pressure with about 10 minutes to go in the game, and I really liked it. And the players this week have come to me individually and said how much they did like it, and that this is something that they would like to do more. And it was in line with, after watching that, on the bus ride back, I had told the rest of the coaches that this is something that we're going to do, because I thought it was really good. I think it's something that we should use throughout the game, not just in game situations, whether you're behind or not, and I think it can be really good for us.
Is it more effective with the three guards in there at the same time?
I wouldn't say it's more effective with the three guards. I mean, it's, Seth and Caleb and RJ are very good on-ball defenders. They're very quick, so it's nice to have those guards out there, but I don't think it has to have those three out there. I think an effective trap, being able to get steals and deflections, it's all about activity. And for whatever reason, that group brought tremendous activity out there on the floor, and that's why I kept them on there. I just felt like that group, for whatever reason, was working, and that's why I kept them on the floor for pretty much the remainder of the game.
Hubert, sort of the defensive equivalent to Rouse's question, but other than the full court pressure, what did you see this week in your defense, things that you liked, things that you didn't, that maybe in the normal traditional half-court defense?
Well, one of the things is just protecting the paint. It's just, I'll tell you two things. It's one, protecting the paint. You know, over the last two games, Indiana and Virginia Tech have gotten 92 points in the paint. That's just not sustainable. It's not good. It's just not going to work. And so just reinforcing our positioning to be able to take away the layups and the dunks and the deep post catches and the easy looks right around the rim. We just have to do a better job at that. It is what it is. And so we've been talking all day, every day about protecting the paint. The second thing is, on the defensive end, is having trust. And from a defensive standpoint, I have felt like we haven't trusted each other. And one of the things that I told them is, what you have to do is, if you give help, and I've been telling them every day, if you give help, you will get help. If you get help, you will get help. And just trusting that if you give help, your teammate will give you help. And I think that's been the biggest thing defensively. You know, and throughout a game, you're gonna get beat, and you've got to trust that your teammate is going to be there. And that consistently hasn't been happening. And so we just talked about that, and I felt like when I said that, all of them looked up and looked at me, and I think it resonated with them, and my hope is it can play out in tomorrow's game too.
In the preseason and up to a couple weeks ago, you said one of the things you talked to them about was shutting out the noise of praise, which last year there was negative noise. But I guess that script's sort of been flipped a little bit here in a couple of weeks. So last couple of weeks, what is your message now about the way that has changed and how you want them to handle that?
I haven't, specifically talked to them about how it's changed. I'm not on social media. I don't read the newspaper. I don't look at the news. I'm not in chat rooms, so I have no idea what people are saying. I'm assuming that it's from the criticism direction. To me, it's my stance has always been, whether it comes from the criticism direction or the praise direction, it's noise. And so you've got to learn how to turn down the noise from the phone, family, and the friends, whatever direction it is. And so that's something that I always talk about, but I haven't specifically talked about which direction it's coming from now, because I don't care, and I don't even care to look at it or read it or to look at it.
Anybody else?
But you know that they see it, and
Yeah, they do.
I would imagine one of your challenges is knowing that they see it, but maybe not knowing the degree of what they see. How much do you think that maybe would help if you did know a lot of what they were saying or what people were saying, especially because it's flipped so much the last couple of weeks?
Well, I can, even though that I haven't seen it, some of our guys have two phones, so that's extra the noise. Okay, they're 18, 19 years old and have two phones, and I'm married and have 3 kids, and I got one phone. So that's a lot of noise. If you're reading the comments on, you guys don't laugh at me, is it Instagram? You're reading the comments. If you're reading the newspaper, if you're looking at, TV shows, one of the things you have to do is, as I tell them, turn it off or turn it down. Not look at it as much, or turn the phone off. And so I like to spend my time on what is real, and what is real is focusing on our improvement as a team and focusing on tomorrow against a very good Georgia Tech team. That's where my focus is on. I just think it's a waste of time to focus on someone else's opinion that isn't in the locker room, isn't in practice, doesn't have a uniform, isn't on the floor, and doesn't run out of the tunnel. It is what it is. And let's just focus on who we are. Let's see if we can get better each day. And at the end of the day, let's just live with the results and have fun.
Hubert, what have you noticed in studying Georgia Tech and how they might compare to, you played them twice last year, around this time, just what have you noticed studying those guys?
Well, Coach Pastner is an unbelievable coach, and they have a unique system, from a defensive standpoint. They mix up their defenses, most of the time when, they make a shot, they're in one of their two different types of zones, whether it's a 1-3-1 or a matchup zone. And if on a missed shot, they're back in their man-to-man, and they can do a number of things out of their man-to-man defense. From an offensive standpoint, most of the time, if not all the time, their offense is bound by their Princeton principles. And so in preparation to them, you have to tweak and pivot and alter and change a little bit how you play defensively to put yourself in a position to be able to defend back cuts and different types of motions. And so, for them, it's the same as last year, different people. They don't have DeVoe and Usher and Alvarado, but it doesn't matter. They've got unbelievable players that thrive in that system. They compete, they play hard. They just have come off a really good win at home against Georgia, and so they're coming in as confident as well. And so I'm looking forward to the challenge tomorrow.
Caleb's ready to go, so one more if there is one.
Pastner called it last year when we were down there in December. He said you guys could win it all. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
He did.
Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it was like the first conference game.
Okay, then ask him tomorrow and see what he thinks tomorrow, and then tell me, okay?
Unprompted. We didn't ask him.
Okay.
If you were a national champion.
Then I'll ask him. When we shake hands, I'll ask him. What do you think? What do you think about our team now?
He was pounding his chest when you guys were making that run.
He's a great guy. He's a great coach, and looking forward to competing against him tomorrow.